These are challenging times. Our children in some countries are really home for a very long time, especially the very young ones who are not completely understanding this situation. They might have to deal with really a lot of emotional changes and disturbances, and very often they can't express it by just saying, hey, I really feel sad, or I missed the time out, or I missed to socialize. So sometimes they show it with emotional behaviors or change of behaviors. So what parents tell me a lot is nowadays that they have experiences of aggression but also fear. So children start to be more scared because, and that is important to understand, also because they feel the energy of anxiety around them. Whenever we turn on the news, we see the numbers going up, and it's really kind of challenging to us to not have this feeling of, oh my God, hopefully there's no other lockdown. Oh my God, hopefully it's going ahead. I do not want to discuss anything about if these are the measurements taken are okay or not okay. So I think we all have different opinions about it. My target is to see what happens to the children. And what I see is that children are showing symptoms. And these symptoms we really need to take serious because they will affect them, especially in the first 5 to 6 years, 7 years. When the children are not so able yet to deal with their emotions, they need very good guidance and help and assistance. This is why I'd like to introduce to you today another book. My name is Marion Hopfgartner. In case you don't know, I'm an educationalist, and my target is to help parents and to help educators to help the children to manifest their full potential. So we are in a challenging process, we are in a changing and adapting process, and so is our surrounding. I found this really good book and I ordered it and I read through it and just wanted to give it to you because I really think that this book for this time is very good, but always when it comes to anxiety, to fears in children, it can really help. It's called Be Brave, Little Pendrine. Yeah, you can see the book here. It's about a little pendrine. They call the pendrine peep here. And what it is about, and it's not just a lovely book with a lovely content, it's also very nicely painted. So you have really awesome pictures there. The artwork done is really nicely by Chills Andriare, Guy Parker-Rees, and I'll put the link below so that if you want it, you can really find it. Just shortly to tell you about what it is. So it tells the story about a little pendrine. They call him, as I said already, Peep. I don't know if it's a he or she. We can't figure that out in the book because it's about the little one. So there are many different ones, and it's about the little one who is really afraid to go into the water. And he or she doesn't want to go into the water, is so scared about the water that the Peep is missing out on playing with others and is always alone. And you can see that this picture is just so nicely painted. Can you see? So children will be really able to feel the emotion of this little one. So what I love in this book is that the pictures are really showing the emotions, and the children can identify with the emotions. And while the others are having fun, this one doesn't have fun. So one day, mom and dad are coming and they're asking Peep, why are you scared of the water? There's nothing wrong with it. You're a pendrine, you can swim. The father wants the little one to go into the water, but he's really afraid. Like, this little one is creating the idea that the water could be freezing. It could be that I can't swim. There could be monsters waiting for me. There could be someone waiting for me, eating me. So there are some, as you can see, a lot of fears which are just imaginal, but there are some fears which are real, because pendrines, we know that, yeah, they will be eaten by some kind of fish. So we know that's how it is. But then his mom is doing something really interesting. She's saying, I understand, my darling, said his mommy with a kiss, but Peep, what if now you try to think of it like this? What if in that water there's a friend for you to meet? And what if it is light and warm and full of fish to eat? So it's kind of giving a different perspective in the book about the ideas the child or the children build up in their mind about a different thing. And then, of course, it's about the guidance, and this is why I love it, because in TLI Pedagogics, we see the parents and the educators as guides and mentors along the process of growing up and maturing. And so this is really nicely stated here in the book also. Take my hand, my darling. Here, just try it and you'll see. Please trust me, little Peep. Come, be brave now. Take my hand. It's kind of, there is a step that you need to do. And I, your mom, your dad, or the educator, I'm here for you to make this step, and I will be with you during this process. I will not let you go alone. I will be here. I will be watching you. And while we all have to do certain steps on our own and no one can take them away, there can be always someone watching, someone who is watching over us. And this is the role of parents. And it really gives a very nice understanding of the parent-child role also in this book. And so where the child can build the trust upon the parent just by being there. And so also then, of course, the little one had a lot of fun. I was great and learned to swim. And the end, just for you to know, because it's really a nice one, as then his friends all gathered round as Peep landed with a bump and said, sometimes all you have to do is just be brave and jump. So it's really nicely done. What can you do with this book? Number one, you can read it to the child. Even if the story is different to their real life experience, they realize that it's about fear, it's about anxiety, it's about working with that. It's about that sometimes we might imagine situations that are not really maybe like that as we imagine them. So this is what you can do with the book. Then you can also start all kind of discussions. Like for example, on the first page, they did it also nicely. They're speaking about that there lived a family of penguins and with all the penguin friends, and that they have been very different from each other. One was tall, one was short, one was thin, and Peep was the smallest one. So what you can do, like for example on this page, as an educator in your preschool or even in an online training, but as a parent especially, you can ask a child, how are we different? How is mommy different from daddy? How is daddy different from mommy? How is auntie different from daddy? How is uncle different from mommy? How is grandma different from mommy? How are you different from us? And what are the similarities? So you can also make out of this page only kind of an understanding session, which can be a cognitive understanding session where you can realize, is your child understanding terminologies like tall and small, and all of this kind of oppositions. So that is something you can do. What you can also do is that at the place where the little one is playing alone, that you can just also speak about your child. If he or she has experienced already in the past one of these situations where he or she has played alone, if they can remember something where they have been sad, not being a part of the play. And maybe now it also starts that they say, yeah, I would like to play with someone now. And there's maybe not another child around or not enough of other children around, depending on the situation you're at the present moment in with all of this corona pandemic and COVID-19 situation. And the question is now what you can do. You can think about solutions also together with your child. What would you like to do? If you are allowed to go downstairs in the parks, and that is now really depending on where you are located. I know that the situation here in Europe in some cities is really, really great. Like I'm at the present moment here in Vienna, Austria, we are moving freely. We have, of course, restrictions like wearing the mask and so on, but we are moving out. Children are going to preschool, they are going to school. But I know there are so many other places where this is not possible at the present moment. So maybe you just can call up a friend, meet in the park, and even if you can't interact directly, you can maybe have some kind of games doing together, standing opposite from each other, and one is making a figure and the other one is trying to copy it or such things, so that there is some interaction. Or if your house is somewhere where there are other children also, maybe you can just open the doors and maybe the children are visible to each other, or you can go on the terrace and have kind of interactions without really interacting in such a way that you are breaking the rules or you are bringing yourself in a situation where you feel it's not comfortable. That has to be explained to children, that at the present moment there's a different time, but that a different time will also come. The situation with the coronavirus is mainly that we never have experienced it, and so people don't know. So think about the page where the mother says, I understand that you're afraid, but try to think like this. And so then you also can think about what are the benefits out of this situation. What is at the present moment different than what was not before? Like for example, before maybe daddy was out for work every day for long hours, and maybe the children couldn't see them during the day or maybe even not at night because he came home late, and now maybe he'd be home more or even all the time. So that can be a benefit for the children. give them some understanding about that this situation will not last forever, that there will come a change. And then I also would recommend you that you try to go back to a certain kind of normal as much as allowed inside of the borders of your country. So maybe you can visit a relative somewhere where there's no risk person. If you know that you are not carrying coronavirus and you know they are not carrying coronavirus, go out, drive with the car for a walk, see the world around, so that the children are really also getting engaged with the world again. We are now in the present moment realizing something really important, going in this informational century. The informational century will be a century where we are mainly focusing on information technology, digital media. You can see it's really already coming in, and this coronavirus pandemic is benefiting the introduction of online learning, e-learning, hybrid learning, blended learning, social blended learning, all of this. It is that one part that we can see is now missing, is the socialization between each other, and that causes a lot of emotions. When we are uncertain, when we can see our relatives, when we can see our friends, they're causing emotional unrestness. So to deal with this unrestness is an important part. This book can help children in that, because it's about be brave. Maybe it's also about being brave, making some steps out that you didn't do. Maybe it's a message also to you that you should go for a walk in the parks, following the rules, that you should try to interact with people, knowing who is healthy and not. So in that regard, I know you have a very good intuition as mother, as father, and I know that you can understand what areas are safe and what areas are not safe for your child. And I'm saying this knowing that some of you live in areas where there might be not so much safeness. So in that regard, I think this book is really great. So I highly recommend it whenever you watch this video, even if the pandemic is gone, because it's about fear, it's about anxiety, it's about helping us to overcome fears and to understand that sometimes in life we need to be a little bit more brave, calculating the risk well, but being a little bit more brave to get to the result that we want. This book is also a very important book for all people who would like to have a forward-moving future. If we do not want to be limited by the fears that we build up in ourselves, it needs our braveness, it needs our inner overcoming of that fears, of that limitations, and step forward. And so this book helps children from the early age to understand that whenever we step over a limitation and a fear, we grow. And it's a growing process. It can be beautiful, and we can really grow into something or someone very special. And when it's coming to unleashing the potential of each child, we need to make certain, and that is during this period really an important message to parents I want to give you. We need to see that our children are not getting scared little children who are fearful about the world, because at the present moment for some children, according how they understand it from their parents, the world really looks very fearful and scary to them. We do not limit ourselves to a concept of that the world is dangerous and we shouldn't move, we should restrict ourselves to a certain area. That will really decide upon the future of your child a lot. We might not realize it yet. We might realize it when they are turning 10, 15, 20. When all of this is over in 5-10 years, we'll see the outcome of that situation at the present moment. I will introduce more books. I ordered some more books because I really was interested in that. I think it's a very, very important time for social emotional development. This is a time where we can take a step back, we can work with the emotions inside of us, with our fears, our limitations, and we should grow out of this situation. We human beings are different from robots, especially because we are socializing. Please do subscribe to this channel, share it with all of the parents you think need it, and get the book if you have the feeling that it really helps your child. So every week we'll do one video, sometimes a little late depending on the days, because I'm on a full working schedule here in Austria. We are going into preschools, doing our trainings, we're having people coming over, everything is open with huge precautions and measurements, but still we are moving. But we'll get everything done, and I will be there for you to give you more ideas and advices for those who want it. Please take it as an advice. Don't take it for granted what I say. Don't just take it and believe it blindly. You always have to validate. Please look into the book. I really recommend you this book. What I like to add at the end is, whenever you look into a book, maybe also look or think about what can you do besides the book. Can you do a role play? Can you do some handcraft? Can you do some creativity work? Can you do some philosophical approach? Can you do some discussion? Can you do some other book which is connected and the topic is maybe correlated to it? Can you do some movement? Can you walk like a penguin? Can you sit like a penguin? Can you play? Can you swim like a penguin? So become creative so that you also see that your child has a deep understanding on many different levels. Go to the internet, study the penguin, where do they live, what do they eat, all of that. So make an entire thing out of that. Educators are very good. So if you want to have some more information about how you can combine a book with other things, drop me a message and a comment down so that I'll come back to you with more information, and I'm happy to create a video to help you with that. For me, it's important that you know that you can leave things in a comment, that you can give me ideas, you can start discussions with me in the comments. I'm personally there to respond, and that you are really in my heart. I really would like to help you through this process in case you need help or you need more information, because I know this time is a very, very challenging time for parents, but especially also for the children. And the outcome, what's happening in the psyche of the children, we can all not fully understand. While we can have a kind of a sense what might be the outcome and what we should do to prevent certain things to happen, still we didn't experience that. It has not been for hundreds of years in our culture that we had a pandemic with such an effect on all people. So this is something our brains didn't learn how to deal with it. And so this is why we all need to stay together to help each other through this process. Do not forget to subscribe and to share. And I'm looking forward to see you again next week.